I spent 3 years convinced that I was ruining my life. While my friends were backpacking through Southeast Asia, posting stories from all these different beaches around the world, I was in a cramped apartment in Chicago debugging code for an actuarial consulting company. That bugged me for a bit, so I decided to try living life like the other side. Then about a year later, while my coworkers were getting promotions and building their LinkedIn profiles, I was asking to avoid as much work as possible so that I could take random trips around different cities in my province. In my early 20s, I felt like I was losing at two different games simultaneously. There is no perfect way to live out your 20s and your 30s for most people. You can either live it up in your 20s and be underskilled in your 30s, or build your skills in your 20s and then be underlived in your 30s. You need to decide what kind of person you want to be, where your values lie, and then accept the trade-off for your life choices. Here's what nobody tells you when you graduate college or hit your early 20s. Every single path you choose closes a door somewhere else. You could take the path where your friends are traveling the world, posting sunset pics in Bali, talking about finding themselves when we all know what they're really doing. While you're grinding that 60-hour startup, just surviving on coffee and ambition, knowing that hopefully in your 30s and 40s you'll see the light at the end of the tunnel and have that great life that these guys are living. Or maybe it's flipped. Maybe you're the one that's backpacking through Europe, staying in hostels, partying, going to all the concerts, exploring the world, while your college roommate got promoted as a senior engineer with a salary that'll make your jaw drop. Regardless of which side you take, you'll feel like you're losing out on something major on both paths. We've been sold a massive lie that we can have it all, do it all, be it all, do everything at the same time. That there's some perfect formula, that there's some life hack, where you can have a multi-six-figure net worth and you can travel around the world doing what you want to do, and then also maintain a thriving social life, and then find your soulmate, and then donate to charity. But that's not real life for most people. You have to be able to choose what you're willing to lose. Stop trying to live everyone's 20s at once and start living yours. That anxiety that you're feeling right now, it's not because you're doing anything wrong. It's not because you picked a bad path. Because you're trying to optimize for everything, which means that you're actually optimizing nothing. If you try to ace 5 exams at once, you're very likely to fail all of them. Or worse, you can pass all of them with C's and wonder why nothing feels satisfying. You don't need to figure out a perfect balance at this stage, but you need to figure out what you're willing to sacrifice. If you're willing to sacrifice your goals, then your goals become the sacrifice. You got 3 main currencies in your 20s: time, energy, and focus. Every single day you're spending them. You can spend them on skills and careers, experiences, or relationships. But you have to be intentional with what you decide and then go for it. Commit to it. Live it fully. The regret's only going to seep in when you're walking down one path while you're constantly looking at the other one, wondering if the grass is greener, the girls are cuter, there's more money. You just need to be intentional with what you decide. These are some of the outlooks depending on which paths that you decide to take. So in path 1, you got your skills guys. This is the grind path, the skills path. You're going to be grinding really hard at that startup, or you're going to be the top dog at your corporate office, or you're going to learn how to trade like a madman in the stock market. This is the path for building expertise and climbing ladders. You're saying no to last minute road trips because you have a project deadline. You're skipping parties because you're taking that online course. And if you're really crazy, you're choosing the internship that pays nothing, but you're taking anyway because you want that valuable learning experience. The best parts about this path is that you gain financial security earlier than your peers. You have a resume that opens doors that people can't even see, and you gain confidence and abilities that money can't buy. You get that compound effect of getting really good at something while you're young. You get professional relationships that will matter for a decade, and you get a certain freedom that comes from being undeniable at what you currently do. The trade-offs for this one, however, means that you lose out on a lot of spontaneity, the ability to wake up and decide to just travel the coast. You lose out on some social connections because you're just too busy. You lose out on the freedom to exist without a goal for 5 minutes. And you lose out on that feeling of life being an adventure instead of a mission. Now, path number 2 is the live it up path, the collector path. Here, you're prioritizing being over becoming. You're going to take that job that pays you less but allows you to travel a lot more throughout the year. You're saying yes to all adventures even when they're inconvenient. You prioritize relationships and experience over credentials and titles. And you're choosing your story over your salary. So on this path, you'll gain stories that you can tell for a lifetime usually. You'll have a chance for those deep, messy, but real friendships that a lot of us crave. And then you'll also gain perspective from throwing yourself into these diverse experiences. You get the ability to connect and meet all sorts of different people from around the world. But with this path, you're likely trading off your financial cushion. You lose out on that early career momentum that compounds over time, the security of knowing where your rent's going to be coming from. You're going to lose out on professional networks that your peers are building. And you're probably going to be playing catch up in your 30s while you see people in your peer group become more established. Neither path is necessarily wrong per se, but they both have very real consequences. They both require sacrifice. And then if you pretend that they don't, that's how you end up bitter at the age of 35. Here's how you're going to navigate this without going into an existential crisis every 3 weeks. Firstly, you want to make sure that you're getting brutally honest about your values. And I really mean your values. Not what sounds impressive at a dinner party, not what your parents want, not what gets engagement on social media, not what your high school guidance counselor told you is important. Sit down right now, like literally pause this video, grab your phone and ask yourself, when I'm 40, sitting on my porch on the balcony, what is my life gonna look like? Who am I going to be sitting with? Where am I going to be sitting at? Looking back on my 20s, what will I care that I actually did? Write it down. Is it the skills that you build? Is it the experiences you have? The expertise you develop? The places you saw? You need to know your answer. The next step is to unfortunately accept that the fear of missing out is a price of admission. Once you choose that path, you're going to feel like you're missing out. This feeling's normal, of course, and it's not always necessarily a sign that you chose something wrong. It's just a sign that you're human. Because unfortunately, you are missing out. That's how choices work. Your coworker is having an adventure and you're not. Your friend could be building a career while you're out exploring the world. Someone is going to be doing the thing that you're not doing. The goal isn't to eliminate FOMO per se. That's impossible. The goal is to feel it, acknowledge it, and then just keep walking that path anyway. Then you gotta remind yourself why you chose what you chose, and then be content with it. The next step is to build in deliberate experiments. You don't have to commit to one extreme for your whole decade. Your 20s are like 10 years long. That's a lot of time. Take a season, let's say like 3 to 6 months. Go hard on your skills, for example. Or go hard on traveling. Or go hard on trying to find a girlfriend. Whatever it is. Really commit to it. Then you can take the next season and then try to do the other thing that you missed out on before. Adjust to what feels right to you and for your goals and values. Your 20s are long enough to test out different versions of yourselves, but each different version of yourself needs full commitment. Think of it like A/B testing. The fourth step is to audit your choices. Set a calendar reminder every 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. Block out an hour and then be introspective with how you're currently feeling at that moment. Life changes. Your values might shift. You might become a different person. Usually it's totally fine, totally normal, completely healthy, but make sure that you're shifting intentionally. Shift because you decided that something different matters now. The last and final step is to stop waiting for permission to commit. This is the big one, and this is where most people stay stuck on forever. Don't wait for some external signs or the perfect time to make these choices. There are no cosmic thumbs up in reality. There's no guarantee that the path that you chose is 100% going to lead to that happiness. But regardless of how that turns out, the only way to know if the path you chose is right is to walk it fully committed and see where it takes you. Commit to it for at least a year, really try it, and see where God takes you at the end of it. Very often you'll find that the people who feel the most satisfied in their 30s aren't the people who necessarily chose correctly. They chose deliberately, squeezed every bit of value out of that choice, and just kept pushing it forward. You can prioritize experiences and still grow professionally. You're just going to have a different trajectory than other people. The poison only comes from the indecision of what you're trying to do. Do your best to avoid living 2 lives simultaneously. Your friend who traveled the world, he'll have experiences and perspective. That perspective could make them good at whatever they decide to do next. And your friend who climbed the corporate ladder will have knowledge and experience. They'll have the resources, skills, and knowledge to become whatever they want. Regardless of what they chose for both of them, if they felt anxious about the other path, they'll feel like they wasted their 20s. There is no perfect way to live your 20s, but there is a way to live your 20s. And the sooner you stop trying to Frankenstein everyone else's decisions for you together and start owning yours, the sooner these years will start feeling like they're actually your years to live. Now get off YouTube and go live it.